One related to a project we initially got started talking about as we were writing the proposal. I know John and Dave reached out to RCAP Solutions in New England. They had an interest in working with us to develop basically an improved data entry method for asset management. And so this is a project that is really being run in collaboration between Patrick, myself, Steve Wilson, some programmers at UMass, and Art at RCAP out of Maine. Here we go. So basically what we're trying to do, the big picture point here, is not something that's necessarily publishable, to develop a prototype product. The interest was develop a smartphone app that can be taken around a small community in conjunction with the free EPA Asset Management Program CUPS, checkup program for small systems, to allow for data entry. And obviously there's some small systems that use this. There's a number of barriers to greater use. One of the many barriers is just data entry. And so if you're not familiar with CUPS, this is essentially an asset management program where you can perform an inventory analysis of the different aspects of the plant and the distribution system, identify tasks for maintenance, update, as well as look at the finances and develop individualized management plan. And this is just one of the screens for CUPS, because it's actually a free shareware product you can download. And we're not doing anything to modify the actual software. We're just adding a smartphone app that allows operators to go around, use their phone, maybe take pictures of, maybe it's pumps, maybe it's part of a well house, maybe it's a piece of equipment, and I'll show some of the mock-ups of it, and be able to just then download that information to make it easy to automatically be entered into the program. So first step, to go about developing the app, we're then going to be beta testing it, hopefully this summer, and put online some case studies of how it worked. And then also Art's going to be convening a work group of CUPS users, primarily in the New England area, but from around the country, just giving some further input on possible ways to improve CUPS overall. These are just a few mock-ups of what's being developed for the app at the moment, realizing over here on your right, just a few examples of some of the inventoryable assets, trying to develop something that makes it easy to scroll through, realizing some operators may be smartphone savvy, some may not, but they may have students who they may be able to get to do this. And so this is one of the things we're going to see, at least if we can get some success with. And then that can be downloaded into the CUPS software. We're working out how that can actually be then entered in fairly directly to minimize the hand typing, because right now my understanding is an operator has to get all this information, go back to their computer, type this in, and we're just trying to make this easier, given that many small communities, there's just limited time on the part of the operators to be developing the inventory. So our project timeline, we're hoping to get the data input app initial version done. Are we still on target, Patrick, for June? Does that?
Yeah, that's what Matthew said.
That's where I thought we were at. And we're going to then this summer have some testing of it with several different utilities in Massachusetts and Nebraska, put together kind of some online case studies, revise the app, and hopefully by winter release the app to those who want to use this. And then we'll have a work group run by Art, providing a white paper for improvements. And so kind of our outputs are going to be basically case study papers for the website, obviously an app that hopefully can be used, at least as a prototype of how adding smartphone capabilities may be helpful for asset management for very small utilities. And if this is successful, we're hoping to be able to work with headquarters to possibly have a webinar. So that's a quick overview of Project 2B. Any questions, comments?
That asset. No, go ahead, Chris. I think the regulators do a lot of that data collection. If you do a sanitary survey every 3 to 5 years, and they have a lot of that already entered into their database. If there's any way to take that and actually just put it right in here if you want to do that, because it's already been collected once.
Yeah, I know our system does not dive as deep as you need to. We use generic entry points, generic tanks and pumps. I mean, maybe a smaller state has more luck with that, but there is a capability in CIDWIS to keep a lot of information, but we can't data enter all that.
Yeah. And I think it's going to vary state to state.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Nebraska's they're about 40 pages. Their sanitary survey when they're done.
Yeah. But I know a lot of this information Nebraska doesn't collect.
Maybe you could include some things in the app, like QR code readers or RFID tags.
Yeah, like name, so
Yeah.
just read a nameplate
And
Yeah,
just go,
get it,
yeah.
that would be awesome.
Right. Because I think we've talked about trying to have that, but we're trying to start small
Yeah,
and build.
right.
Step one is just making it so you can manually enter, and then add features like that would be
Right.
definitely.
So
Right.
for, the first time you might have to do it, but then if you can assign a
Right.
QR to it, then boom.
Sure. Because that's a great suggestion. John?
I was just going to point out as an example of where this grant I mentioned that we have from the state overlaps with this, is that one, we have a contract with National Rural Water Association. As part of this grant, we're paying their boots on the ground people to go to small communities as directed by Mass DEP, and it's one of the places they can go and part of that is planning assistance, it's technical assistance and planning assistance that they can demonstrate or promote or try to use this new app with that client, and it's a way to get it going. So if you think of other things, that the fact that we have a contract with the state, and we're hiring people on the ground, we're going out and interacting with small utilities, that there's something else of that nature good to hear about.
That's great. Okay.
At least in theory we are. We have a subcontract. Get that far.